right, what's up, everybody? We are back here again for week number 7 of Pete's Power Rankings. Yes, I go through, I'm watching 99% of all of these games. I'm taking notes, I'm keeping tabs, I'm breaking things down, ranking all 32 teams from top to bottom. It was a wild week 6. We just wrapped it up. I'm real angry, I'm jacked up after that horrible Monday night game. It was just an awful game to watch, but we had a wild week. Lots of upsets, some top teams going down to some bad teams that maybe aren't that bad. Maybe they're good. Who knows? The NFL, just when you think you know what's happening in this league, it's a not today. You don't know nothing about us. And do we possibly have a new team atop the mountain for the first time this season? I don't know. We could have it. But remember, again, these are the power rankings. These are not the standings. But let's get into it. Our bottom teams in the league, teams 32 through 23. Okay, no movement here at the bottom. Panthers, Patriots, you're awful. Chicago, welcome back down to earth. Justin Fields injured. Not good. That Vikings-Bears game, that was awful. I wanted to gouge my eyes out watching that game. Denver, you're bad. When's Russell Wilson getting replaced? Arizona coming back down to earth. They played good for a half, but just the second half again, we just kind of know the Arizona team. Not very talented. Maybe they're well coached. They fight hard at least. The Giants, they haven't scored an offensive touchdown in 220 minutes. Like, ridiculous, but it was a good showing against the Bills. They shut down the Bills' offense. They were okay with Tyrod Taylor. They only scored 9 points, not great. Tennessee, awful against the Ravens. Mounted some sort of a comeback, but Ryan Tannehill goes down. Washington, a nice win, rebound. They had the long break after the bad loss to the Bears. Go on the road, get the job done at the Falcons. And then Vegas, you beat the Patriots barely at home. I wasn't impressed. Jimmy G's hurt again. Just an ugly team that leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I just wasn't impressed by this. But let's get to our middle tier teams now, 22 through 16. Okay, Packers off this week. I'm going to drop them a spot. It just somehow the ways it goes, but they were off this week. Maybe they'll get a bounce back. They're at Denver this week. They should win. Falcons. Desmond Ridder is the worst quarterback in the NFL. The rest of the team is good. I like the Falcons as a unit. They have the worst quarterback in the NFL. 2 of the worst interceptions you'll ever see, dropping them 5 spots. The Colts down here to number 20. Thinking about moving the Colts down even more. They officially lose Anthony Richardson for the season, according to owner Jim Irsay. Minshew just isn't Minshew magic when he's coming in the game as the starter. You kind of maybe need to put somebody else as the starter, and then you bring in Minshew at the start of the second quarter. Maybe that's where he gets his magic from, but they were overwhelmed by this Jags team. Houston, nice win again at home against the Saints. Houston and Minnesota, tough to figure out. I feel like Minnesota's the more talented team, but Houston plays harder. Feels like they're better coached. They're on the way up. Minnesota's on the way down. Got them at 18 there. Pittsburgh off this week. They're going to stay put. Tampa Bay, I'm going to drop them 3 spots here at 16. I just didn't love what I saw from Tampa Bay. They're at home off a bye, and they kind of got bullied. Offense was anemic from Baker Mayfield. They didn't do anything at all. They scored 6 points. I know the Lions defense is solid, but 6 points off of a bye at home, not good enough. And the defense kind of got carved up by Jared Goff on the road outdoors. Just a real surprising, and they were undermanned. Amon-Ra back had a big game. They lose Montgomery in that game. So I just didn't love what I saw from the Buccaneers this week. But all right, let's get into it. Y'all are all here for this. Our top 15 teams. Let's start this off. A team, I can't believe they're here. I can't believe they won this weekend. And do they have a possibility of getting into the playoffs? All right, number 15, I got the New York Jets up 7 spots. I don't think this is an overreaction here. They've won 2 games in a row. They're heading into the bye at 3-3. You can't really complain if you're a Jets fan, man. 3-3. I mean, we thought this was going to be a disaster when Aaron Rodgers went down week 1. If they could have just figured out a way to beat the anemic Patriots, just the worst team in football, one of them, it feels like. This team is 4-2, and they're a serious playoff contender. And now we got videos of Aaron Rodgers just 30-plus days removed from Achilles injury tear, and he's out there throwing the football, moving around like he may not be joking. He may come back this season. It's kind of crazy. But the best part about this team is their defense. Their defense is the second best, if not the best defense in football. They are lights out. They suffocate people. They dominate teams in the second half, and they've played some awesome quarterbacks, and they've shut them down. Jalen Hurts, Eagles offense, Nothing in this game. They couldn't get anything going, and they were missing both their corners this week. Maybe they're better without their corners, blah, 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 blah. Such a dumb statement. But this Jets team has been spunky. They've fought hard, and I think they have a little bit more belief in Zach Wilson. He didn't do much, but the Eagles' defense is pretty good up front. Pass secondary is not great, but they are so beat up on this offensive line. They don't have much time. Got to hand the ball off to Brees. Got to get the ball to Garrett Wilson more. But I think this Jets team could be a problem for a lot of people. If they can just stay afloat, and if Aaron Rodgers can manage a miracle here, maybe the Jets back into the playoffs. And that's a team you don't want to play. Absolutely stunning. But at 14, this is my least favorite team, I think, in the NFL, and my least favorite coach. Okay, I hate the Chargers. I hate Brandon Staley. Watching them play makes me want to like punch a hole in the wall, kick a dog, punt a baby. Who knows, man? I mean, not really, but it's just so frustrating to watch the Chargers play. This team is so talented. Brandon Staley, you're a defensive guy. Your defenses are abysmal. They're clueless. They don't cover anybody. Your pass rushes aren't great. I mean, sometimes you get pressure, but it was just a sloggy, slow, ugly game. Kellen Moore, your play calling, man, pretty awful. Pretty awful. The Chargers couldn't run the ball against Dallas, but again, they lost by 3. They played them tight. A awful officiating crew. Dallas gets bailed out on a 3rd and 19 on a 5-yard illegal contact that pretty much won the game for the Cowboys. Other than that, the Chargers are getting the ball with a chance to put them away in a tie game. So a little unlucky there, but they had too many opportunities. Herbert looks a little off with the hand injury, and he wasn't great. He had protection, and he missed Keenan Allen twice for 2 big plays, maybe 2 touchdowns. In a game you lose by 3, 20-17, you can't miss those. So the Chargers are so frustrating. I still think they're a good team. They clearly showed they're a good team. They play with a lot of heart. They play hard. Just, it's so frustrating to watch this team play here at 14. But at number 13, we got a team that's moving in the right direction. All right, 13. I got your Cincinnati Bengals back up here at 13, up 5 spots. Big win for them coming off of the bye. They're going into the bye. Big win for them coming into the bye. They had to win this game. They've now won 2 games in a row. Another team that's trending in the right direction. They're 3-3. All things considered, how bad the start of the season was for the Bengals, they really did a good job here. And it was their defense flexing that muscle. I still think there's something wrong with the offense. Burrow's looking a little bit healthier, but the play calling is not good. They're not in sync. T. Higgins is banged up. They're not getting him the ball. It's just like, it just is not smooth on offense, especially against a Seahawks secondary that hasn't been great this season. Now, they've been trending in the right direction. They get pass rush. They stop the running game, but I just don't love the offense. The defense, I loved the performance. 2 huge red zone stops. Now, maybe the game looks a little different. They're kicking field goals instead of going for it, but they got the much needed win. They really need this bye. They need everybody to get healthy. They got to work out some kinks in the offense, but this is what the Bengals have done the last 3 seasons. Start slow, and then they slowly pick it up into October, into November, December, and come January, you don't want to necessarily play the Bengals. They get themselves to an AFC Championship game. So this could just be the Bengals' MO. Patriots used to start kind of slow, not this slow like the Bengals do, but maybe this is what they do. It's a good time for a bye for this team, and we'll see how they look coming out of it. Okay, at number 12, so I'm going to put the Rams here at number 12, just leave them put. I wasn't super happy with what I saw from the Rams. They were awful in the first half, kind of got dominated by the Cardinals, but they played it close. It was like a 3-point game, and then they dominate the second half. They finally, I mean, Kyron Williams had like 3 carries in the first half. Then they just feed him the rock, give him 15 carries. He runs for a $150, $120, whatever he ran for. He was running all over the place, and it opens up the offense. You have to run the ball in this league effectively, or Stafford in this passing game is just not going to get it done. The offensive line is okay. It's not great. And you got to soften up that pass rush. You got to loosen up that coverage with an effective running game. Cooper Kupp is back though. A big game for him. Puka Nacua dropped the touchdown. It was a tough play, but I would like to see a little more from Puka Nacua. But this is a solid Rams team. Their record isn't as good as I think they are. They're back to 500 now. So we'll see what the Rams do moving forward. This is an interesting team. I would have liked a lot more 60 minutes of domination against the Cardinals, but they dominated the second half. They won that game convincingly. So we'll see what the Rams are moving forward. Just kind of a weird team that doesn't play up to their potential, I think, but that's how a lot of teams in this league play. Okay, number 11, I got the Seahawks down 3 spots here from number 11. Honestly, all in all, I was very pleasantly surprised what I saw from the defense. They shut that game down. It looked like that game was going to get into a high-scoring affair. Defense turned it on. The run defense is so much better from last year, and the pass defense is getting back to where it needs to be. They did a relatively good job. I'm very concerned about Geno Smith now. This is a couple games this year where he's just looked flat out bad. Now, every time everybody kind of has a stinker there, but he was like the reason they lost this game. He was very ineffective. The offensive line couldn't protect him greatly, but he was missing reads left and right. I mean, this offense has too many weapons for you not to be able to get the ball to DK, not get the ball to Kenneth Walker, not get the ball to Lockett. And then JSN, he's been nowhere to be found this year. Bobo had a big game for them. It's just like really kind of weird. It feels like Geno just isn't that guy, and it's ready for this offense to take off for them. And of course, DK gets a stupid penalty as per usual. This is kind of a weird Seahawks team. I don't know what to do with them. I've had them higher. I think maybe that just kind of is what it is with this Seahawks team. They're limited by their quarterback play. It's as simple as that. A lot of these teams are. Geno's just not going to be consistently the guy we saw for most of last year. He'll have his flashes. He'll have his games. But when push comes to shove, I think we're going to get let down by this Seahawks team if we put too much stock into them. Okay, number 10, I'm going to put the Cleveland Browns up a spot here. Fantastic performance by this Browns defense. They were coming off the bye. The big question with this team is what the hell is going on with Deshaun Watson? He was cleared to play 2 weeks ago. He goes into the bye. He doesn't practice, doesn't play. It's PJ Walker, the third string. Too bad for DTR, but he gets the dub. Does enough to get the dub. I still hate Kevin Stefanski and his game management. He really tried to lose this game for the Browns. He's making them throw the ball backed up. No reason to. PJ throws a bad pick. They just run the ball and punt, run the ball, kick field goals sometimes. We're talking a historically good defense. Now, the Niners were banged up, but that's what Cleveland's defense does. They're physical. The weather's bad in Cleveland most of the time during the football season, and it's a huge benefit. This defense is allowing like 202 yards per game so far. We haven't seen numbers like that since the 70 Vikings. Like, this is all-time great stuff with the league what it is now. Like, insane stuff from this defense. They make life hell for them. They took out Debo. They took out McCaffrey. Now, you can say they should have lost this game. Niners should have made that field goal. It was 41 yards. But hey, bad weather, rookie kickers. The Browns did enough to win this game. They were the better team for the majority of this game. I just don't think they have a good head coach in play calling and game management stuff. It's just like really frustrating. And Deshaun Watson, what is going on? We need to get a report because there's something more to this story, I think. But other than that, all-time great defense for the Browns. Is there limitations? Absolutely, because of this offense. But this defense is insane. The best defense in the league. Okay, this was a tough one here. I'm going to stick the Jags up only one spot at number 9 here. Look, good performance all around for the Jags. Like, it just like feels like I don't know what to expect from this team on a week-to-week basis. Like, I feel like the defense is good. They forced a few turnovers. They really turned it up. I feel like the offense is good. They scored some points, but it's just like it feels like it's missing something. It feels like this defense maybe could be a little bit better. It feels like this offense could be giving me more. It could be scoring points. But I can't complain if I'm a Jags fan. You're 4-2. You're in first place in a weak division. Now, two of the other three teams are out of it. Houston's your only competition right now. Now, Houston has beaten you in Jacksonville already, so not great. You need to win that game in Houston. But, man, I want to see more from the Jags, honestly. Offensively, Trevor Lawrence is a bit nicked up. They're playing on a short week Thursday in New Orleans, and that's a great defense this season. Now, the offense is pretty awful in New Orleans, but whatever, man. It's a tough spot for them. Let's see how they adjust and moving forward. It's just like maybe they got to work out these kinks. I just don't know if I can trust the Jags, even though I think they're a good football team. Speaking of teams I can't trust, it's the Baltimore Ravens. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with this Ravens team. They go over to London. They have a dominating, commanding lead on this Titans team. And then they let the Titans come back. Now, Tannehill gets hurt. They shut the door. But it was very much in doubt that the Ravens would win this game. Tucker has a big game. He kicks like 6 field goals in this game. Struggles in the red zone again for this offense. And Lamar leading the team in rushing for the 5th straight season. It's just, you can't have it. Where is this offense? You can't play like this. We've seen it every year. They rely on Lamar to run. The passing game, they drop balls. They don't convert. Mark Andrews has a good game. And then Lamar gets hurt trying to do too much on a play. Now, they are getting healthier. That's going to help this team. They're getting guys back, especially on the defense. Defense played solid. It's just like, for some reason, this team can't hang on to double-digit leads. Like, they've lost more double-digit leads than anybody. More 15-point leads, more 10-point leads, more fourth-quarter touchdown leads than any team in the NFL since 2020 and 2021 for those respective categories. It's just like, what's going on with Harbaugh and this coach team? I just can't trust the Ravens, man. I want to trust the Ravens. I want to, but I just can't. So for right now, we're keeping them at number 8. Okay, number 7. I'm keeping the Cowboys here at 7. It was a much-needed road win against the Chargers, but I wasn't impressed by anything this team did. The defense had a nice bounce-back game. The offense was a little bit better, but good God, does watching this team on offense drive me up a wall. You can imagine the pain I felt. I just told you how I felt about the Chargers. How I feel about this Cowboys offense is the exact same way. It's like they have so many weapons. It's just such vanilla play calling. It's no creativity. Dak was sharp tonight. He made a few plays with his legs, extending plays and finding a wide open CeeDee Lamb. Somehow he would be wide open. They just wouldn't cover him in LA. It's just like they couldn't run the football at all tonight. And that's supposed to be your bread and butter. And it makes life so much easier if you're a Cowboys fan. Defense was back. Micah Parsons was real quiet until the last drive of the game, which you love to see. The biggest concern with this Cowboys team, they're big front runners. Now, they finally won a close game where things weren't going great for them, but they're kind of in control most of this game. They had an awful special teams play where it looked like, oh God, here comes the Cowboys slipping away again. Big response. They get bailed out on a penalty on their last drive. It's just so frustrating to watch this Cowboys offense. It should be so much better than what it actually is. We know what the downfall of this team's going to be. It's going to be Mike McCarthy. It's going to be the offense. It's going to be play calling. I can guarantee it. Write it down. Book it. It's just so annoying. If you're a Cowboys fan, you're going to win a playoff game, and then you're going to get bounced in the second round thanks to your head coach, thanks to your play calling, thanks to your inability to trust your offense. So frustrating if you're a Cowboys fan. So frustrating of a team to watch. Cowboys at 7. Okay, number 6, the Buffalo Bills. Sometimes you have bad wins. This was a bad win for the Bills. I mean, Buffalo, they come back from London, a bad loss. Now, I know it's London, but you get the night game here. Maybe it messed up their clocks. They thought they should be sleeping. They were tired. I don't know, man, but they were just awful for 3 quarters, this Bills team. They didn't score a point against a Giants defense that is abysmal. Like, come on, Buffalo. They were running the ball effectively, but Diggs, 16 targets, 15 targets. The rest of the team, less than that combined. This Buffalo's offense, and Josh Allen is up and down, roller coaster man once again. He took a hit there. He isn't comfortable, and now he makes bad decisions. Makes some really suspect throws on the run. It's just, I don't know what to do with this Bills team. I dropped them 2 spots here because I just hated the way they won. Probably should have lost that game. Awful clock management by the Giants at the end of the half. Maybe got away with a pass interference on the untimed down at the end of the game. It's just, you can't beat the Giants 14-9 at home on Sunday Night Football and me be any sort of impressed with you as a football team. I just clearly, maybe beating the Dolphins blew this team's load and they just took too much out of them. They checked out. I know that they got injuries on defense, but man, it's just, yeah, that just frustrating team. But number 5, a team I'm not frustrated by. Number 5, I almost put this team at number 4. I'm going to put them at 5 here, up a spot. The Detroit Lions. Yes, this Lions team, this was their year. They were spunky, ready to go. Finally win the NFC North for the first time in franchise history. and it looking like a cakewalk. They got 5 wins. The rest of the division has 5 wins combined. Go on the road, a little undermanned, off a team that's been physical, coming off a bye, dominated this game. Most of this game, they were in control. Jared Goff, defense, sneaky good games on the road, outdoors is what you want to see because Goff has been like an unbelievable guy indoors and at home. Not great on the road, outside. And now it's 2 games this year. He's played very well. Now, they did lose Montgomery, their running back. Let's see what they do. They got a staple of backs back there. Jameson Williams, welcome back to the NFL. Sometimes you forget he's had a weird start to his career, injuries, suspensions, locker room fights, but he's a burner. You see what you saw at Alabama. He's a huge playmaker. I think the Lions are not this year. They're not ready to do it this year. They're going to win the division. They'll get that home playoff game. I don't know if they're ready to win a playoff game. I certainly don't think they're ready to make a Super Bowl run yet. Next year is going to be the big time year for them if they can stay healthy, keep their guys here. The problem is Ben Johnson is going to get a head coaching job this offseason. So maybe the Lions get on a flaming hot run. They go on a tear. They win a Super Bowl, all happy in Detroit, and then it all falls apart again. But for right now, I love the way this Lions team play. The defense gets better every week. The offense gets more consistent every week, and they are going to have a easy schedule the rest of the way, relatively speaking. They're going to have a home game at minimum. Maybe they have 2. Maybe they get a bye. They could seriously be contending for the 1 seed in the NFC because I think there are some flawed guys at the top, and the schedules do not get easier for them. Okay, a team I put at number 4. I got the Eagles at 4. I almost put them at 5 here. We've been talking about the Eagles. We've not been impressed with them through the first 4 or 5 weeks. Then they have a great showing last week against the Rams. It felt like, oh, the Eagles are back here. And then they lay an egg against the Jets. Now, maybe the Jets lull you into a false sense of security, but man, they threw this game away. They weren't able to move the ball. No big passing plays this year. And Jalen Hurts has kind of regressed. He has not been as good of a passer as he was last year. He's off on his throws. I mean, that 3rd interception he threw, just abysmal to lose them the game, essentially. Now, the defense did a relatively good job, but they were put in a bad spot finally. They didn't have Jalen Carter. Secondary's not great, though, and the Jets ran the ball okay. I'd be very concerned, a little bit, way more concerned than I was last week with this Eagles team. There's just something up, man. They're just not great. They don't know how to coach with a lead. It looks like Sirianni bad with a lead. This has just been kind of an off year for them. Now, the schedule has been easy, too. And they have a record that shows it. They're 5-1. So let's not panic, Philadelphia. It's okay. You're 5-1. But it's concerning. It is concerning how the offense has regressed. Jalen Hurts has regressed. You can't pass the ball as much. The running game is still good. But when push comes to shove, you're going to have to make plays in your passing game to beat the top tier teams in this league, to get to another Super Bowl, and to ultimately win that Super Bowl. For right now, I got the Eagles here at number 4. Okay, number 3, up 2 spots, the Miami Dolphins. Maybe losing that Buffalo game was exactly what the Dolphins needed. They needed to get a reality check, and they got it, man. They go down early, 14-0 to the Carolina Panthers, and they blow them out. This offense is so good, so explosive. Tyreek Hill, just all he does is get 150-yard games. He can't be stopped. He can't be covered. It's unreal what they do. Mostert leading the league in rushing touchdown. He's got 11. This is a passing offense that's balanced. It's a rushing attack that's balanced. Who needs maybe the best, one of the top 3 backs in the league in Devon Achane? They just get it done in Miami. And the defense, they got to be better, but they lead the league in quarterback hits and quarterback pressures. Sounds like a Vic Fangio defense to me. They're going to get better as the season gets along, and that's all the Dolphins need. They need their defense to be average and let this offense cook. Now, I do get a little bit worried. What are they going to do in bad weather? What are they going to do about physical defenses? We saw the Bills kind of push them around, get the offense off key, and that's what did them in last year. But I think this is a really, really good football team. They lost the battle and they end up ultimately winning the war. A huge game for these last 2 teams this weekend. Sunday night, Dolphins at the Eagles. This is huge for these 2 teams. Both teams need a win here to cement status here. If the Dolphins can go into Philadelphia and beat the Eagles, boy, oh boy, we might have some serious talks that this is the best team in the AFC, or if not, they are a serious contender in the AFC, in that AFC championship type level team. Because, man, I just love so much what this team does. Okay, I thought long and hard about this. I'm only bumping the Chiefs up here to number 2. They are getting a one-spot gain. Look, the Chiefs have not looked great all season, but they win football games. They lost week 1. They were super undermanned against a very good Detroit Lions team. That's not a bad loss whatsoever in a game that they absolutely should have won. But now they own the longest winning streak in the league. They're tied for the best record. It's coming up Chiefs again. Now, I don't love this receiving core. I think Rice is going to develop into a solid receiver, but everybody else is awful. They don't get open. They don't catch the football. Kelsey was solid again, but Kelsey might be getting a little famous. He might be getting in over his skis. You do have the best quarterback in the league. The best thing about this team is their defense is covering up for the lack of offense. This is not a fun team to watch anymore. This is not the Kansas City Chiefs we've all fallen in love with. We love to watch this Chiefs team because of the offense. They're exciting. It's ugly. It's grindy. But they win football games, and maybe that's just how this Chiefs teams look until they got to reload and get some actual playmakers. Maybe get on Andy Reid for whiffing on these wide receivers and Mahomes not being able to develop these guys. We saw Aaron Rodgers take guys that maybe weren't the best wide receivers and turn them into absolute studs out there. So maybe that's the next level evolution of Patrick Mahomes' game. But I can't really say anything awful about the Chiefs besides that, like, they're not fun to watch. They maybe keep teams closer than they should, but they get W's. And for that, I got him here at number 2. I can't wait till the Chiefs play the Dolphins in Germany, of all places, at the beginning of November. That's going to be a must-watch football game for everybody to see if they really, who is the top dog in the AFC. But as always, despite a bad performance, I didn't feel enough to knock this team off at number 1. Okay, I'm keeping the Niners here at number 1. Look, bad losses happen to everybody. It's a road non-conference game. Probably the best type of game to lose if you're an NFL team. Has no tiebreaker implications. Now, we wanted to see what could Purdy do. Now, some idiots out there talking about Brock Purdy, MVP and stuff like that. They can chill now. We saw what happens. Trent Williams was banged up most of this game. They lose Debo early. They lose McCaffrey to an oblique injury. And you know what? Purdy was not good in the second half. Played a great defense, played in bad weather. He was not good at all. But look, Purdy did what he needed to do to win that football game. They got him into field goal range, 41-yarders. You're an NFL kicker. The weather wasn't bad enough for you to miss that kick. They should be undefeated still. But guess what? We saw what happens. McCaffrey is clearly the MVP of this team. Now, the injuries are concerning. Trent Williams should be okay. Debo is day-to-day, so they both should be good for the Monday night game in Minnesota. But McCaffrey, they're doing some more tests. You just hold your breath if you're the Niners fan. Not again, you say. Not right now. It can't always happen to us. Now, you get Minnesota, who's not a very physical team. They blitz a lot, and maybe that's going to make Purdy life a little difficult because he struggles under duress, it looks like. It will be a very interesting matchup of styles, but I expect this Niners team to come out heads on fire, maybe indoors, good environment. Minnesota, they don't know what they're doing. They were pretty mad this week, so I think the Niners are going to be okay. They just got to avoid any long-term injuries to this offense because it's just ridiculous how good and how much better this team is with Christian McCaffrey in the lineup. Get the ball to Kittle more. You got to find Kittle, man. He's your safety blanket as a quarterback. Purdy just wasn't able to find him, and that was an ugly game, and that's what happens. But it's good enough to keep them here at number 1. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who am I too high on? Who am I too low on? Who do you disagree with? I love the debate in the chat. It was a weird week 6. We're going to be rolling on to week 7. If you haven't already, drop a quick like on this video. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We got new videos every single day. If you want to support the channel more, click that join button. Join the channel memberships. You get lots of cool perks for you to use during our live streams. You get access to early and exclusive content. It really helps me out a lot. Lets me keep making these videos for you every single day, and I will see y'all tomorrow.